Welcome to Theater Crafts, where we take theater memorabilia and we make brand new treasures. All right, so lately I have been cleaning out my sheet music and my scripts and my collections, and discovered that I have a lot of sheet music that I'm not using, that I have duplicates of. Some of it's damaged, and I thought, well, what can I do with this sheet music that still honors the show and the memory of the show, but I can use it for something else? So I came up with tassels. So these are tassels made with sheet music. They're made with the covers of the music, and these are tassels that can be used on gifts. They can be gifts themselves. You can put them on a tree, you can put them on a doorknob. They're really versatile and just so cute, and what a great way to remember a show. So today I'm going to show you how to make tassels out of sheet music. Let's get crafting. Okay, here we are at the workbench, and let's just take a closer look at these. So what I've done is I have created a tassel using sheet music. There you go. And the cover of the sheet music, in this particular case, it's also true on several of these actually. This one was actually the CD cover. This was sheet music. This was a piano book, an old piano book that I had, and it had the sheet music. It was beginner piano, had the sheet music inside, and this was the cover for it. So then you take the music and then add the cover for just some color, but you don't even have to do the cover. You could just do it with sheet music. It's put onto a base that is a cork, but you could use other bases as well. I liked the cork because I can then screw in this the eye hook here, and that way you can use it to hang from a curtain or from a gift or from a tree, whatever works for you, from your doorknob. That would be really fun. And then you can embellish them in any way that you like. You see here, like with 6, I thought that kind of looked like crowns, like the queens there, and added some rhinestones to the top. But you can glitz them up if you want, or you can keep them even more, more subdued if you'd like. So these are the examples, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do today. All right, so let me clear my space, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done a recent kind of clearing out of some of my old music and scripts and things, and so I have some sheet music that I'm not necessarily going to use any longer, but I feel I don't want to throw it away, so that's why I've been creating these tassels. I just think it's a fun way to continue using them and appreciate the artwork on the cover, or just the music and such. So I'm not advocating getting rid of sheet music that you're going to use. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be upset with me for destroying sheet music. This is sheet music. Some of these were damaged, or again, sheet music that I'm not using. So in this particular one, we're going to use the Sound of Music here, sheet music. I've got a cutting board here. You can use scissors though, and I've got scissors here. I'm going to use scissors as well. And I have my glue gun and glue sticks for at least the beginning part of this. And we'll also use, I have corks. And you can buy corks at your local craft store, or I actually got these online. And so that's what we're going to start with. I also have, like I said, the eye hooks there. I have a container here, and this is the eye hook that I used for the others. You certainly could use, I've got this kind of hook here. You could certainly use something like that if you'd like. Or if you don't want to use hooks at all, you could just use ribbon like I did with mine, and then put them kind of like attach them here so that the ribbon, rather than attaching to the cork on the top with the eye hook, you can glue it underneath the paper. So you could do that too. All right, so we're going to start with the sheet music here. So I'm going to take the cover off because we're going to use the cover for the the outside. And again, you don't have to. You could certainly just do sheet music for your entire ornament or tassel, and that would certainly work. Now, in this case, it's much more visually interesting if you're going to just use the sheet music to cut off the edges here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm actually doing all my pages at once because they're pretty consistent, I have found. And so I'm just going to cut, let's see there, with my cutter here. I'm just going to cut right through those pages. And do that on the other side. And notice I'm not being particularly detailed about it, just trying to get kind of that white off. Now I'm going to get some of that off on the top and bottom as well, just so that we've got a little bit more of the, the interest is actually the music part of it. So I'm going to take that off the bottom. These would be great on gifts too. Opening night gifts or something like that would really be special. So now on a piece of sheet music like this, I found, we've got 4 staffs here. So I'm going to cut right in the middle. That way we can use, maybe just get 2 rounds. That'll make sense in a moment, from one piece of sheet music. All right, so let's see how close we are with the sizing of that. All right, so I'm gonna make those even, and you could measure them out and do that ahead of time, but you saw how long that took me. That's pretty quick. Okay, so I'll put this aside now. All right, now we have our different rounds of music here. Okay, so now we're going to cut them. We're going to fringe them. So if you look at the examples, like a tassel, you would have a tassel. It's fringed. So when you're fringing this, did I make that the word up? If you're fringing, you're going to cut, approximately, give it like an inch or so at the top. That's where we're going to glue it around the cork. All right, so I'm actually just going to cut them. I'm going to cut them all at the same time even. Okay, and I notice I'm doing like maybe 1/4 of an inch in between each one. You want to be careful not to cut into the other one and cut them off. And you don't have to be exact, right all at the same. They're pretty close, but you don't have to be. I did find that when I'm cutting them like this, you'll see that it starts to pull a little bit. It's fine. It'll all work out when you're putting them together. You'll see. You could do this with scripts too. That would actually be really neat if you do scripts. And I see it didn't come out even on the end there, so I'm just going to cut these. There you go. Okay. So, like I said, you can do this with scripts. You could do it with program pages. There's so many different options. So now looking at these, I actually like to see which side looks better. I like this side better. Let's see, now that one's blank, so I'm going to put this side out. And this side here. This one doesn't necessarily matter. And then this one has no lyrics, and that's blank. So we're going to put that side out. Okay, so now we're going to grab our glue gun and grab our cork, and we're going to get started. Okay, so now if you notice on the ones that I made, you can't really see the top here, but I glued them about maybe 1/2 inch down from the top. There was a reason for that. If I glued the different layers all the way to the top of the cork, you're going to see all those pieces of paper around it. So if you notice here, I added cording on each one of these so that you can cover up all those layers of paper. So that's up to you how far down you want to make it and how much of that you want to cover up. You know, a quarter of an inch is fine, half inch, whatever works for you. So you're going to put a little bit of glue, and I'm going to start just gluing that. Now you want to use low melt glue on this. I'm going to be honest, because boy, you're gonna hold it, and that will get hot along the way. So you don't need to use a lot of glue here. I'm just gonna glue right down, because papers, I suppose you could use like a white glue as well. Notice I'm actually rolling it on my mat. I found that you can, especially with these corks, these are kind of flat, but this way it will kind of lay flatter as you're going around, if you notice that. Now it is gonna buckle a little bit just because it's paper and just the bulk of it as you get around the different layers. Okay, and now all right, there's layer one. So now we're going to take our next piece of paper, and we're going to start right where we ended on that one, on that first round. Okay, and just, now again, you want to make sure you have the right side out there, whatever side you determine is the prettier side, whatever it is you're going for. Okay, and trying to line that up. And then you're going to go down the line again. I found that adding, depending on how thick you want your tassel to be, you know, with this size sheet music, 4 or 5 layers is probably good. And that's what I did for most of them anyway. You can use, like I said, different types of corks. You can use champagne corks. Those are flatter and more of a bulb at the top, which might be easier, honestly, if you're trying to define the location for the music. All right, there's number 2. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the next 2 layers. I'll speed this up so you can watch, but you don't have to do it in real time. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we are we have 4 layers of music, and honestly, that's adorable. You could put a hook on this, or a tie on this, and you could decorate the top with burlap or ribbon or something, and that would be just sweet. So now we're going to do the cover here, and I'm actually going to grab my cover again. So we need to figure out how big we want this to be. So I kind of want the Sound of Music in there. It's not going to be big enough to do all of the words. So by that I mean this isn't big enough to show all of the words. I was lucky in some of these others, like The Wizard of Oz, I was able to get all the words on there. But if you notice Annie, it's pretty tight. It's right around there. So, it all depends on the cover that you have. So looking at this, I'm just kind of measuring it a little bit. So I'm going to probably cut it around here. Let's see how that looks. So I'm being very precise here. And you can always adapt it. That's the beauty of this. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay. I'm going to pull it down just a smidge because I am going to put a trim on the top here, and this way it will cover that. All right, it's perfect. Get that out of the way. So I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, actually, I'm going to cut off the edges here. Yeah, the edges. And that's the white, like what we did before. Okay. All right, so I'm going to fringe it. I feel horrible fringing through Julie Andrews, but honey, I'm going to fringe it here, kind of like we did with the others. It feels wrong to cut through these. But I'm going to be honest, this sheet music has been in my filing cabinet good 20 years, and I have not touched it. And I thought, all right, I need to appreciate it in a different way. So that's why I've pulled it out, and now I will be able to appreciate it and see all of these wonderful images. Oh, so sorry, Julie Andrews. And appreciate, I mean, I'm a huge Sound of Music fan, so I will appreciate it in a different way. All right. So now the challenge for this cover is, the cover of the, this is trying to figure out where to place it. So it may just be that we cut off the, and just do sound of, so it's not, we're not going to get all of Sound of Music, and I'm sorry, Christopher Plummer, we're probably going to have to cut you out. All right, let me get this, cut this off. Just trying to find best placement here. Because I'm sorry, I kind of do want Julie Andrews in there. So if we do it this way, we could get Christopher Plummer. He'll just be hiding under Julie Andrews. Let's see. All right, we could do it that way. And, you know, certainly we know based on this, we know what show it is. Okay, so by doing it this way, I'm gonna glue this part first, just so that we have the placement right. And again, I'm pushing it down just a little bit on the, just a little crooked, a little bit on the top here. The reason for that is I can get, when I add a trim, it's not going to cut off as much of the title. I found that on some of them, I was cutting off the title a little much. You'll see it on Frozen here. See, I was cutting off the title and I had put it up too high. So I wish I had pushed it down just a little bit. So that's where this is coming from here. All right, let's do this. And you want to be careful because it is paper, so you want to be careful while you're putting this on. And this cover is, the top is going to be covered up with trim, and we'll get to that in a moment. If it's not exact, don't worry about it. Like I said, we're going to a little bit wonky with the glue there. But there she is, Julie. Okay, so Now don't worry about the top. That's going to be covered, so don't worry about that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to, just spread it out there. We're going to get some trim, and we'll add the trim to the top and finish this off. Okay, so I've gathered some trims. Now, this is, because this is such a small piece, it's actually a great way to use up some of those extra trims if you've made a garment, a costume or something, and you have extra pieces, and they're always small. I always have tons of small pieces that are hard to use for a full garment, but are perfect for something like this. So, grabbing some different trims, ribbon, certainly I grabbed some ribbon here to use for the hanger. But I also grabbed some of these flowers. I thought that might be kind of fun. I did that with this one here. I added flowers on the top of the Annie tassel, so that would work. Now, in looking at this, I'm not happy with the way this wrinkled here on the sound. So I'm not happy with that. So I think I might cover the Sound of Music up. We're going to know that's Julie Andrews and that's Sound of Music. But like I said, I want that to be cleaner. So what I think, I grabbed this trim that might work. I grabbed this trim as well. I have this bobbly trim that was from another project. I'm just worried about bobblies being in front of Julie Andrews' face. I don't necessarily want that, but I liked the colors of it. And then I have this as well. So I'm going to start with this. And if you notice on the others, I put like a cording around the top, like I was saying, between the paper and the cork. And I had this trim. I prefer to have it without the fabric attached to it. So I'm just going to cut the fabric off because it just happens to be trim that I have, and I'd like to use it for this project. And again, you don't need a lot of it, which is great. All right, just cutting that off, and then we're just going to glue this right onto the top of the tassel. Now I'd like to start in the back, so we'll start on the opposite side of where Julie is, and we're just going to glue. I want that fabric part to be down in the bottom, so just glue right around the top there like that. Okay, so I can hear my kitty in the background. She's telling me she wants a treat. Can you hear her? Yes, Willow. Okay. And this will be covered up, so don't worry about, if it's not perfect. I'm going to try to get some of that excess glue off, though. Just to cover that up a little bit. Now, the ends are always tricky on these, so I'm going to kind of try to lessen that just a smidge. See in a moment. I'm going to get around here. I love it. It gives it kind of a topper, and gives it, kind of finishes it off a little bit. That's why I like it. Just getting some of that glue off. I'm just using my nail. You could use, actually yesterday, when I was working on these the other day, I used just like a mail opener on it. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this. Angle it so that I can leave that in. And this is where you're going to want to, I should have grabbed it. I don't have it with me. I'm going to scoot that in there. You can put it down because you're going to cover the bottom of it anyway. But you want to really try to get these ends in, because cording like this tends to unravel and it's not pretty. I should have I have a silicone tip, fingertip that I could use, but I don't have it with me right now. All right. Just want to make sure that that's nice and secure. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is put that aside, determine what we want to do for the next layer. I kind of, let's see, kind of do like that. I don't know, what do you think? I could do this underneath it too. Just totally covering up the Sound of Music, that the wrinkle in there. Or could I do that on the top? Let's just see. And then this on the bottom. Which combination do we like better? Kind of like that combination better. So I'm going to do the top here. Make a clean cut on this. Let's do that again, shall we? Okay. And again, we'll start towards the back. And just trying to cover up these raw edges is what we're trying to do. And of course, I grabbed this color because it goes with the sound of the lettering in the Sound of Music, and now we're not going to see it. That's okay. I think so much of costuming or prop making is just really just building on what you've got and fixing the mistakes and hiding what doesn't work. And I find that I do that. A lot of my embellishments, those of you who don't know, I costume a lot, and those sometimes when you get mistakes or things that don't turn out the way you expected, that's when they become embellished. And so that's kind of what we're doing here, is we're kind of embellishing, adding the details onto it. Okay. There you go. That looks good. All right, so now we're going to add the next layer. Get this one out. And we'll add the blue. Okay. So I'm going to do the same process. I'll speed through it. I'm going to do the same process that I did on the last one. I'll speed through this so that you don't need to watch it in real time. Okay, so there we go. There's the base of that. We've got the different colors on there. Okay, so now I have flowers here. I thought flowers would be really fun to add. That I was thinking here, like kind of like Edelweiss, honestly. I thought that might be interesting to incorporate. We've got the blue here. Actually, I like the blue a lot. I'm going to cut this right off of the kind of a ribbon of roses. Cut that right off. We could even put that right in the middle, right there. That's kind of fun. Let's see. All right, so now we got this here. Add the up the eye. Literally all you have to do, because it's a cork, is hold on to the sides tightly, and you're going to screw the cork, the eye hook right into the top here. Okay. Right, I'm going to add, now let's see, do we want flower here? Do we want it here? I kind of like it there. I'm going to put it there. Secure that. And then I have a ribbon here, and I'm going to thread the ribbon through the eye hook. Get it there. Come on. There we go. There we go. And I'm going to tie a knot here and cut off the excess. And there we go. I always like to put my fingers in and just kind of spread these out just a little bit, flare them out a little bit. I don't do it too much, but it has, I think it gives it, must make it look like a skirt, like a ball gown of some sort. How sweet is that? I love that. There are, you know, I forgot to show you that there's so many different ways that you can add or embellish these. This one here with the cabaret, I actually made some beads out of the cover here, and you know, added that as an additional little embellishment. If you don't know how to make beads with paper, I'll link above one of the videos that I showed how to make beads with paper. And here they are, these wonderful little tassels made out of music, sheet music, program pages, out of the scripts, whatever you have around, and then being able to use some of the, I don't know, the ribbon that you have or trims that are left over from different projects. It's a way of kind of celebrating not only the projects that you've done, like costumes and things that you've made, but the shows that you have seen or have been part of too. So I hope you try this. Please send me pictures if you do. I am so thankful that you're here with me every week. Thank you for joining me for this version of Theater Crafts, and I will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.